It's the Dami hour. I'm talking about the Michael Brown death. 11/28/2014, 10:56 a.m. I finished off my last video on is when you see how people live. You know, again, I was raised lower middle class. I had a nice house. There was a Christmas tree. I got the presents that I wanted. You know what I mean? I got decent food. We went to church. My dad had a white collar job. My mom was a homemaker. You know what I mean? It's like I had like the little, you know, the little house on the prairie kind of life. My dad's like Michael Landon. My mom's Caroline. You know what I mean? I had that life, so I understand that life. And then when I moved to Hollywood out of the Marine Corps, and I see, well, dude, people live, they're really in poverty. These neighborhoods are not looking at the nice, you know, people have money and they have the nice Thanksgiving and the Thanksgiving that I grew up with. They don't have that. And it's, you know, when you go oppress somebody and it's like, wait a minute, man, you know, I can understand. It's like turning on something that you can't get out of, but it's just the, you know, the poverty divide. I can understand that. Cops need that kind of understanding, you know, and just to remember it. Because obviously, as a cop, when you know somebody doesn't like you, and they don't like because they are looking at you as you're representing what doesn't have the empathy. And is targeting me as a minority. They start to see that. And I start to understand that when I moved to LA and people are looking at me. You know, no one's ever looked at me as a Hispanic before. People always looked at me as Dominic. Hey, I'm just Dominic, dude, you know? And people are starting to look at me as a race. And it's like, wait a minute, but you're looking at me as a race in a negative way. You're not looking at me as a race in a positive way. And then I started to be able to understand, well, I know what that black guy feels like. I know what that brown dude feels like. I know what that Indian, the Native American feels like. I'm starting to understand that. Cops need to understand it in the training. Because in those crucial moments, I believe if Darren had this training, he would say, you know what? If I'm going with what he said, which is, I don't believe, but I'm going with what he said, this guy's just attacking you, and I can't believe it, and he's turning the weapon here, and it just so happens my radio is on the country station and not to talk to cops. And I can't believe it, and I'm going through the articulation of, am I going to use a baton, and I can't do that, and am I going to use a mace? Dude, how are you going through that articulation in those crucial seconds? That's something that you would articulate in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like, but if I'm going with what you said, and you fire those rounds, if you had that empathy training, you would know. Say, wait a minute. This guy took cigars, and he's acting like this. I'm not going to kill a guy over cigars. I won't. And I'm still alive. I've shot twice. I don't know what happened to him, but I'm going to give him some distance. I'm going to go out, assess my situation. Make sure no one's going to shoot me out of my vehicle, man. I got to make sure that I'm safe. I'm not safe in this vehicle. I'll be safe taking cover outside. And then I see him and I'm going to follow him, but I'm not going to create a desperation. I believe you would have done that with the proper training. I believe if you were like on a scale from 1 to 10, a 10 psychopath, that with the training, if you're saying, well, I'm going to be a cop and I'm with the training, I believe you still would have done that with the proper training. I don't want to take the risk though. I always want to know if cops are, what level of psychopath are you, really? If you're fearless, you got psychopathic trait. What level of psychopath are you? I'm always asking that question when I write my scripts. I wonder, are these cops psychopaths? How level are they? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Everybody should be asking that question because we do not want cops that are a high-level psychopath with a badge and a gun. Absolutely not. We don't want that. It creates a system of, you know, then you get Gestapo. Then those words ring true into modern time. You don't want that. You want people to have empathy. So this is a good turning point to get that empathy. And again, and in every video, Darren, tell the truth about his hands being raised. Tell the truth.